All right. Hello, everyone. Thank you guys for joining us tonight. I'll introduce myself. My name is Ashley Griffith. I am a mortgage advocate for Philadelphia Unemployment Project. And I have with me James, if you would like to introduce yourself as well.
Are here to present information about the Pandemic Mortgage Assistance Program.
Yeah. I do want to put a little disclaimer out. The meeting is being recorded and live streamed to our Facebook page. Also, the purpose of this information session is really to show you kind of a broad general overview of what the program is, not necessarily to dive into very specific eligibility requirements and things like that, because we do not underwrite the application, so we don't want to mislead anyone. And go into details that we don't necessarily know. So without further ado, I'll begin the presentation. I'll share my screen. If anyone has any questions, feel free to unmute yourself during the presentation. Please stay muted unless you do have a question. But once you have a question, unmute, interrupt us. That's completely fine, and we'll try to answer questions as they come. Okay? All right, so let me share my screen real quick. All right, so as we said, we are the Philadelphia Unemployment Project. This specific information session is to do a broad overview of the Pandemic Mortgage Assistance Program. We have an acronym for this called PMAP, so you'll hear James and I saying PMAP, that's what it is. It's the assistance program that we're talking about today. Here we go. All right, so for those of you, I know some people on the call are familiar with PUP, which is Philadelphia Unemployment Project. We love acronyms. So we are a nonprofit organization. A lot of people, hear unemployment. They think that we are associated with the Unemployment Office of Philadelphia. We are not city employees. We are a nonprofit organization committed to economic justice. We have multiple functions that we serve in the community. So one big one is advocacy. So we advocate for for economic justice. We were out there today. We held a rally, if anyone got to see that on our Facebook page, to extend the $600 a week unemployment benefits for everyone. So we work with advocating for unemployment benefits. We also help people who are having issues getting their benefits or even getting in touch with the unemployment office. We have someone who works one-on-one to get people the assistance that they need. We also work in housing. So this program, is a mortgage assistance program, but we do have 3 housing counselors on staff. We do pre-purchase. We do rental assistance. We work with rental assistance, things like that. We also work if you have any tax or lien issues, and we have transportation assistance as well for people who don't have transportation and live outside city limits and have a hard time getting to and from work. So that's basically PUP in a nutshell. So I wanted to give a little bit of a background about kind of where this program originated and where the money came from for this program. So I know a lot of people are familiar with the CARES Act. It was the largest stimulus bill in U.S. history. It was $2.2 trillion that was then funneled into the states. And Pennsylvania said, I'm hiding my PowerPoint. Here we go. Pennsylvania said that they would designate $25 million of that for mortgage assistance and then $150 million of that for rental assistance. So there is a COVID rental assistance program out there. We won't be covering that today, but just know that that is a resource that is out there currently. So the Pandemic Mortgage Assistance Program. PMAP was created through the funding from the CARES Act to aid in foreclosure prevention. So what this is it's emergency assistance as a result of, the COVID pandemic. It's in the form of a grant, which is not necessarily common, at least in my experience with mortgage assistance. Most mortgage assistance is some kind of loan or forgivable loan, whereas this is solely a grant. There's no repayment obligation. This is for the entire state of Pennsylvania. So, yes, we work in Philadelphia. We are sharing it in Philadelphia, but it is for the entire state. And it is for homeowners who are at least 30 days delinquent in their mortgage payments. Here's the first thing we're going to say about this. If you or the person that you know of that might need this assistance is not currently 30 days delinquent, we still are going to encourage you to fill out an application. We'll talk more about that later, but we're encouraging people to fill out the application. It's a complete personal decision, but if you're comfortable doing that, regardless of whether or not they meet the eligibility criteria, because of some issues with the program itself that we want to advocate to change. So, all right. So as we said, the grant itself the program itself is a grant. It is up to $1,000 a month, and it will cover for up to 6 months. Those 6 months have to be between March 2020 and December 2020. The $1,000 a month, you have to have the lender has to basically sign off on it. So it has to bring the mortgage current. If it does not, the lender either you have to come up with the balance, whatever that is, or the lender has to agree to forgive the balance. But the grant up to $1,000 a month has to bring that mortgage current. So eligibility, I said, you'll see there's only 3 here. There's only 3 here listed. Obviously, there's more eligibility requirements. We'll get kind of into those, but again, we don't want to scare people off with the eligibility requirements, but we do want to talk about them. So number 1, your income had to have been impacted as a result of COVID. So if you lost your job, just say you were fired, for negligence, I don't know, and it wasn't COVID related, you wouldn't be eligible for this program. That's kind of I think that's kind of a cut and dry eligibility requirement. So you either had to completely lose your job, or your income has to be reduced at least or by at least 30%. Okay, your household income. The mortgage has to be due, like we said, between, or it had to have become delinquent between March and December 2020, and that's what they'll cover. PHFA, which is the Pennsylvania Housing and Finance Agency, are the underwriters for this program. So, we're presenting the information. Pennsylvania Housing and Finance Agency are the ones that will review the application, and they'll do all of the underwriting for it. There's some other eligibility requirements I just want to make mention of, but again, take them with a grain of salt. Definitely do your own research about it. But one of the eligibility requirements are that there's a maximum income limit for your household size. What we've been telling everyone, though, is that underwriters, depending on what underwriter you have, they can be calculating your income very differently. So I always say people, just because you might be a couple $100s over that max, I apply anyway. We're really, really, really encouraging people to apply regardless. Someone else is coming on. James, do you know, did I miss any really kind of stickler eligibility points?
Not that I can think of, no. All I would say is, as Ashley has said a couple of times, we just want to encourage folks to definitely at least get your application started. Even if you think with sometime before December you might possibly have a problem coming up, don't delay, don't wait until you are eligible per the requirements that are listed to start getting your application together, or to get your application in if you are really close to being in trouble. We just want you to get your application in case the eligibility requirements change and become more favorable. If you're already in queue, it'll be that much sooner that you get processed. Yeah. There's a question in the chat there.
Yep. So Steph just asked, Stephanie's from Habitat for Humanity. She asked, what is the best way to start the application if the online form questions automatically tell someone they are not eligible, which they absolutely will. So Steph, I'm sure you've tried that. So automatically, so one of the other kind of points or points that will make you ineligible automatically when you're filling out the application is when you say that you are currently in an active forbearance. So if you've already worked something out with your lender and you're in an active forbearance, the online application is going to kick you out. It does the same thing, I believe, if you say that you're not 30 days delinquent yet. So if you're currently, you're current, but you know that you're going to become delinquent, you won't be able to apply online. So Steph, what we say for folks like that is, absolutely, it may mean that you will get denied, but fill out a paper application. And the reason that we're doing that, and we're asking kind of for everyone's help in this, is to advocate for changes to this program. So, just because you're not 30 days delinquent, it shouldn't mean that you're ineligible for assistance in the future. It doesn't mean that you're not going to become delinquent. And so we really, our hope is that, PHFA sees that, a lot of people are in need, are applying and are in need of this assistance. And, they have to deny them because of all of these eligibility requirements that are making people ineligible for the program.
And the interesting thing about that is that the PHFA itself doesn't actually like any of these restrictions. They want to get the money out there as badly as people need it. They're concerned enough about the restrictions that they have written letters to the legislature to ask for changes. And our PUP, as well as other advocacy groups like CLS and PLA, and housing groups across the state, are backing them up on that and advocating for these changes through the legislature. But the legislature is out on vacation right now, so we're hoping that when they return to their offices in mid-September, that's one of the first things that they will take up, and we're advocating for that very strongly. If we can generate the data that folks are applying for this program, folks realize that this program is out there, that they need it, it's more likely that they will make some changes to the program before the deadline.
Did another question come up? I can't.
Do they obtain paper app from your office? Yes, they can. They can obtain a paper application from our office. Our offices at Philadelphia Unemployment Project provide assistance with people who have difficulty with access to any sort of office equipment, computers, internet, printing. We will print stuff out for you. We will help you fill out applications. We will walk you through applications over the phone if you don't want to come in due to coronavirus. We will print papers up for you and leave them at the front desk so that you can just pick them up. So yes, you can get the paper app on the website if you have your own printer at home. I know I don't have my own printer at home myself, so...
Which shocks me because James is our very technologically savvy guy. So I wanted to piggyback too on something that you just said. I wanted to elaborate a little bit on James and my position as well. So we're the mortgage advocates, which means numerous things. Number one, our job is to get this program out. Not we asked at the rally. I think it was Jeremy that was at the rally today. We asked at the rally, how many folks here have heard about the pandemic mortgage assistance? And not even half, it was like a quarter, not even. And it's very frustrating, that no one has heard about this program. And then also we are that one-on-one advocate. So, we are that person that, if like James said, if you don't have access to a computer, or if you're not understanding the application, because, it's some of the eligibility requirements are difficult and they're difficult to understand. Or if you're having trouble getting the documents, which we'll go over, we are the person that will work one-on-one with you to guide you through that process. All right. Any other questions before we move to the next slide? Just send them in the chat box or unmute yourself. Okay. So documentation that's required, obviously this is going to change based on your situation, but kind of the generic documents that they request are the most recent updated deed, recorded deed to the property. All homeowners are encouraged to apply for this assistance, but if PHFA is very clear about this, if all homeowners aren't available to apply for this assistance, you can continue to move forward with the application. Personal identification for all adult household members, so that can be driver's license, tax ID card. They ask for your social security card as well. Income documentation, so they will verify your income. So like I said, there is a max income limit. So they're looking to make sure that you're not, over that max income. So if you are working, they'll ask for pay stubs. If you are receiving unemployment, they'll verify unemployment, which is one of the sticklers of the program. That's a little frustrating because that's delayed, I think, a lot of applications because they have to verify with unemployment. I think that's really, honestly, this compared to like closing on a house is nothing, the documentation that they request. So it's kind of slim. James, did I miss any like important pieces of documentation? I don't think I did.
No, I think you got that covered.
Yeah, they have a nice, and we'll share the website and everything, but they have a really nice little application checklist. So prior to, if you are submitting it online or in paper, I do encourage you to look at that checklist just to make sure that you have all of the documents they initially request, because otherwise it'll hold up processing your application. So you can complete it, as we talked about, you can complete it strictly online. You can complete it via mail. Notifications. So they're saying they have a quicker turnaround. So this is like the latest that it would be turned around is 60 days. The longest it would take is 60 days to hear whether or not you are approved for this program. So here is where you can apply. So that link will take you, or if you have a phone, you take a picture of it. That will take you to the online and the paper application. You would just have to, follow the appropriate links. If anyone is here or anyone knows anyone interested in rental assistance, all of that information is at the same website. And our email is there, our phone number is there. You'll hear prompts if you call that main line to talk with someone about PMAP. And James and I have separate extensions that you guys can call to apply or to talk more about the program.
Just folks telling us their story. We need, our job as advocates is to advocate. And one of the problems, with advocating for something is if we don't have enough stories to relate to the folks that we are advocating to, then we're not effective advocates for you. We can't be effective advocates for you unless we know what's actually going on. So any sort of problem you encounter with the application process, we want to know about it. Any sort of difficulty with lack of response, we want to know about it. We want to know what put you there in the first place. Why are you applying for this? Because all of these things are things that we as advocates can then turn around and go to the folks in the government and in these organizations and say, hey, we talked to a lot of homeowners and here's the problems that they're experiencing with this program.
Yep. All right. So this is other assistance. I know we talked about it, but there are resources out there. So there is the COVID emergency rental assistance. You'll see that information on the same link as PMAP. Residential mortgage foreclosure diversion program is a program in, I believe it's only Philadelphia, right, James? That's not statewide.
No, that's statewide. The state has a rental program and a mortgage program, yes.
The foreclosure diversion program.
Oh, the foreclosure diversion, I would have to get more info on that. I'm not sure if that's, I don't think that's being set up statewide. I think that is only Philadelphia County.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay, Steph, you might know. If you know differently, if we're wrong, let us know. But I think it's only Philadelphia. What?
I was taking notes. I was like, ooh, what's that? So
yeah. Yeah, I have a feeling it's only Philadelphia, which is unfortunate because I actually think it's a great program. So what this does is it kind of, it's like an intermediary between the step of being in the house and then sheriff sale. So, actually getting foreclosed on. And it's kind of like a last ditch effort to get everyone in the room and to figure out if there's anything else, that could possibly get figured out so that you can keep folks in their home.
Yeah, I'm only seeing Philadelphia.
Yeah. I mean, again, it's a great resource, but there you go. So advocate for it statewide.
Yes,
ma'am. And then we do have a Save Your Home Philly hotline. They know all about this program. So, that's kind of, I think, the first step. If you're having issues, with your mortgage or your rent, you would call that hotline and they would direct you. They direct people to us. They direct people to, to other resources as well. And then our website is down there at the bottom. It's philaup.org, which is, PhiladelphiaUnemploymentProject.org. And I think, that's it. So let me just stop share real quick. See everyone's faces again. So does anyone have any questions, comments, concerns, suggestions, anything?
No, my biggest question was, of course, I went to your website and thought, let me see how far I can get just to see what any homeowner would see. And of course, I got kicked out right away. I'm like, let me put a forbearance in just to see. So I appreciate your answering the question about how to get the paper application and knowing the bigger why of why you still want to hear see their applications and hear why they are still trying to get help, even if right now they're not willing to say yes. That gives
Yeah.
me more to encourage our homeowners and community members to get involved.
Yeah, and I think it's a fine balance. And for anyone on the call, I hope you understand why we're asking you to still apply, even if you feel as though you might not be eligible. It is kind of that bigger picture of, let's show them how much need there is, and the fact that the eligibility requirements are just kicking people out, and it's just not allowing people to get the assistance that's needed. But if you work, if you yourself aren't applying for this, but you're working, like I know Steph works for like to guide families through this. If you're in that position, just we ask you to just be very open, honest with people, and just to kind of set realistic expectations.
Also, another reason why we are encouraging everyone to apply, even if you feel like you might not qualify, is if you encounter that problem, if you encounter the problem of needing it but not being able to qualify, we want you to get in touch with us anyway. There's not only the mortgage assistance program, there's a ton of other housing programs under all the letters of the alphabet and a million different names. So I don't want to list them all off right now, but we have expert housing counselors who will do their best to help you find a program that will keep you in your house. Our entire goal through this program is to keep people in their houses.
Yeah. I can't believe that we didn't say this. The application deadline is, I know it was written, but the application deadline is September 30th. As far as we know right now, that is a hard, steadfast deadline. And they just opened up applications July 6th, so it has not been open that long. And like we said, people still don't know about it. So please help us in getting the word out and getting people applying for this program prior to that deadline of September 30th.
Yeah, and don't anybody out there watching this, if you're a renter, and I hope you've actually hung on this long to our broadcast if you're watching this on a live stream or if you're watching it later. But if you're a renter, PUP has rental assistance programs as well. And so even if you are experiencing housing anxiety and you rent, get in touch with us. Get in touch with us for any housing anxiety, getting in touch with us if you're having trouble with your unemployment insurance, whether it's PUA or regular UC, it's all stuff that we help with. And I think it's important to get those resources out there. So just get in touch with us and we will try our best to help you.
Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah, go ahead.
I have a question about that pandemic unemployment. I have filed for pandemic, and I was out of work since January, March, April the 18th, and I applied for unemployment, so I wasn't eligible to get unemployment, and so then I tried the pandemic unemployment. They said I was eligible, but they never sent me in.
All right. So what I would encourage you to do is go ahead and call our main number between 9 and 5 Monday through Friday, and you can literally talk to any of us. But Ted Kelly is the guy that heads up our unemployment issues. You can call me too, or you can call Ashley. We can all fill out the form for you. There's also a form on our website where you can describe your unemployment issue, and it'll send an email to Ted, and we get in touch with DLI once a week on Mondays and get them a list of all the unemployment issues that we know folks are experiencing, so that hopefully they can take care of them. They generally are responsive to the issues that we submit to them. And the phone number is 215-557-0822. Or you can email pmap@fillaup.org. And of course, you can go to fillaup.org and go directly to our website yourself. Fill out the same form that I would be filling out to get the issue. I filled out a form
and sent it in, but what happened was they asked you questions of what was your situation about what happened, and I told them that I've been waiting for assistance from that pandemic unemployment. I've seen people come out of prison who just got it. It's the 30 days for them to get it now.
Are you talking about our form on our website? Are you talking about? You said you filled out a form. Are you talking about the form on our website?
I filled out. It was a questionnaire. I think I went to your website already because it was sent to me. So I went and looked at it.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're talking about there was a questionnaire it's actually still up there, but I'm talking about right on the homepage on the right hand side. There is a questionnaire. Are you having problems receiving your UI?
But I probably have to get it again to see what really. I probably have to get it again. If you could give me that information again, please.
Sure, it's in the chat, but also it's the number is 215-557-0822. Or you can.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Or you can email pmap@fillaup.org. What were you going to say, Ashley?
Just that this is Jerry. Just so you know, it's a common thing that's happening, and which is why organizations like PUP are around, and why we're really concentrating on helping people navigate the system. Everyone's overwhelmed. Everyone is, and everyone's probably behind because of the pandemic and everything that's going on. So definitely reach out to us. We'll try to figure it out.
Because I'm a carrier, and I work for a company, and they laid me off in March, January, March the 18th was my last day, and due to COVID, and it's been hard trying to get into that because I was making pretty good money with them. Now, if any other job, right now, they just right now opening up to hiring people for stuff like Amazon and stuff right now. They just now doing it because they had locked in Amazon and stuff like that. They had people already been locked in for doing them jobs.
Well, keep in mind, even if you get hired for something now, any unemployment weeks that you weren't paid for, you're still eligible for. So if you were unemployed anytime between, as in your case, you were unemployed in March, and you're still unemployed. Let's say you got a job tomorrow, you're still owed all the money between March and now. So we still want you to get in touch. You'll still get the money. PADLI won't run out of money or anything like that. They will get you the money eventually. It's just,
See, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. I thought that, if you, because they didn't give me anything, and I don't still understand why. Then you try to call them, and and I'm telling them, look, I have a mortgage to pay, and right now I'm pretty much really in deep water.
Yeah.
So,
well, the PMAP program might be good for you right now because you're missing all your unemployment for all those months, and you're in deep water. Definitely, you'll wanna apply for PMAP and get that application in. Hopefully, we can get you approved and get you the money for your mortgage. But get in touch with us about the UC issue. We'll try and get that squared away too.
Yeah. So
only thing I got to do is go back to your go back to the org, because the number I had using a marker and it didn't write. So I kind of didn't get the number.
Gary, did you register? You registered for this, right?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so we have all of your emails, and we'll do a follow-up just so everyone knows. It's kind of a great way to end it as well. We're gonna follow up with everyone who's on the call. We'll follow up either tomorrow or early next week with just some resources, the websites that we mentioned, all of the emails and things like that. We'll definitely send out to everyone who registered.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah. Any other questions? All right. Well, thank you guys very much for attending. I hope the information was beneficial, and I hope you all have a great night.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye. Thank you.
Ashley, thanks, James.
Bye.